dreams are solid gold. Dreams are solid gold. And if you're not dreaming, if you're not recording your dreams, if you're not relating to your dreams, and I've gone through periods of my life, it's not like every single morning I'm scribing out dreams. But if you're not relating to your dreams, what that means is you're not relating to your deeper self. It's just that simple. I've interpreted a lot of dreams, my own and others, for maybe the last 30 years or so. I thought today was a really, really good day to do this. I want to flag something right off the bat. I woke up yesterday with Bell's palsy. So which side is it? The left side, this side, it was dead. It's better today, but you can see that it's very, very asymmetrical. I've got some control there. But I can feel the deadness on that side. So it's a good reason to do this because the first reaction, we're talking about dreams. The first reaction a person has is, let's say, fear. You go into fear. Now, I want you to realize, what I have to realize for myself is that waking up with Bell's palsy, and that's my interpretation. I didn't go to a doctor. I was aware of it from elsewhere. And it's scary, right? Because, the first thing you think is, you got a tumor, a blood clot, or whatever. And so the first thing is you want to go to an expert and get all that sorted out. And they're going to subject you to MRIs and all this other kind of thing. So you put yourself into a certain conveyor belt of the mainstream medical system, which is what you're supposed to do. However, the media is so full, and the various information. If you go to Johns Hopkins or anywhere, and you Google dead on one side of your face, the first thing you're going to say is go to the doctor and get it checked out, because they don't want you to die of a blood clot or a stroke or some other kind of thing. Well, I'm gambling today. If I'm dead in a few days, you'll know that I gambled wrong. But that side of my face is gone. Now, why? This image behind me here is a dream that I did. This is from like 30 years ago. When I first started doing dream interpretation for myself, I would wake up and I was trying to incorporate an artistic expression, and go back and watch the videos on happiness to see how this thing, what's up here. So I woke up in the morning, and if I had a dream that was notable, usually all of them were notable at this time, because I was trying to move my life in a certain direction. And when you want to move your life in a certain direction, it's very difficult because you are who you are, and no matter where you go or what you try to do, that keeps being the case. This is where dreams come in. Dreams are coming in as though from the outside, but what it is they're coming from a deeper self. So to those people that say, I don't remember my dreams, I never remember my dreams, I don't think I have any dreams, it's really just nonsense. And it's treated as though it's just kind of like some optional thing, dreams, no dreams. It's no big deal. I'm telling you right now, are solid gold. Dreams are solid gold. And if you're not dreaming, if you're not recording your dreams, if you're not relating to your dreams, and I've gone through periods of my life, it's not like every single morning I'm scribing out dreams. But if you're not relating to your dreams, what that means is you're not relating to your deeper self. It's just that simple. You're relying on your egoic sense of myself, which is informed by other people, the conditioning you had, your education, and all this kind of stuff, books you've read, whatever it is. It can be extremely well informed, but all of it's been filtered by a conditioned self. The dreamer inside of you is the closest thing you're going to have to someone who has not been conditioned by other people, other information. In other words, the dreamer only wants to make sense. It's closer to the self with a capital S. The dreamer is. I'm not going to say it is the self with a capital S, but the reason the dream has so much data in it, so much information, and it can be so accurate and so spot on and so nonsensical, so distant, so far away. The degree that your dreams seem far away in terms of never having them or they're all nonsense, that's how far away you are from your deeper self. Sorry, I don't care how smart you are, I don't care how wonderful you are, I don't care how happy you are. If your dreams are not making any sense to you in any way, I would say that that's an indication that there's a gulf between yourself and your dreams. Now, why do I say it's important today, since I'm sitting here, talking like, slurring out of one side of my mouth, is because I did wake up afraid. And so I decided to try to access intuitive sources to try to understand what's going on with the bells. What's going on with this? Why? I just woke up with it. What's going on? Now, I can escape into what did you have for dinner? It's a little bit like the Scrooge moment. You could be a little bit of undigestible potato. But we're missing an opportunity. This bells is a manifestation of a dream. This is how I'm taking it. It's a dream manifestation. Obviously, it's the dream body coming out on my face. That side is drooping. It's lost feeling. When do I get it back? I'm not really sure. Could be weeks, could be days. I don't know. But what's it about? It's an invitation, as I said before. It's a form of unhappiness, right? I didn't design this in. I don't want it. So it's a form of unhappiness. And as a form of unhappiness, from the other videos, it's an invitation to go deeper. And since it's bells and since I woke up fearful, I'm going to say it's a demand to go deeper for me, to me. So what did I do? Today I woke up with the left side of my face not working right. My mouth doesn't want to chew much, and it's strange to drink or swallow. This is what I wrote down, just as notes to myself to try to get centered in spite of the fact that I thought something was radically wrong and I was going to die, that kind of thing. So then I remember, okay, yesterday I had this dream. 2 poles, they were rough, like stripped pine trees. They were very long, maybe 30 feet or so. One pole was a little bit thin and less firm. The other was almost as substantial as a telephone pole. I tilted them up so they would not sag from laying horizontally, poorly supported. And then the word important comes up in this process. While I'm writing down the dream, the word important is there. I don't remember how it figures, so I wrote it in brackets. The word important comes up. Now, that's the dream. Now, the mouth face issue causes me to think about stress, because that's what causes bells. So stress. I don't feel stressed. I do not live anything like a stressful life. I'm writing all this down. This is a journal entry. Work, money, relations, etc. Very little anxiety, tension, or real issues that would cause what I think of as stress. But I do lean on myself constantly. There's hardly a second in a day that I'm not free of some interior agenda. I'm on the outside, you would never think I was, let's say, a type A. But I drive myself continuously. I usually try to identify the uncomfortable place, and then I go there. And it's like, and that's what I do. Why? I don't know. Who knows? Karma. What's it about? And then I decided, okay, I'm going to do a tarot reading. Okay, now tarot reading, to me, is another form of waking dream. As I have the bells manifesting, do you understand what I'm saying? The body manifests stuff, illnesses, zits, problems, aches, pains. Now, you can't always read it like it's petroglyphs carved onto your health, from some distant intelligence. You got health issues, right? It could be vitamin C, vitamin D, all this kind of stuff. It's a game we play to get closer to the deeper self. It's a game we play, which is all of this is a game we play. Even if you want to be a CEO of a corporation, that's a game, man. So it's a game we play to get closer to the self, the deeper self. So and I have been, and this is what I say, I've been gifted with many skills and natural talents, and I have done nothing, nothing with them. I feel constantly in deficit to whoever gave these gifts. Again, we're not talking about God. We're talking about why do I have an ability to draw? Why do I like to speak? Why do I put words together coherently? Why do I have these certain attributes? I have certain attributes. People said, "Hey, Pete, you ought to be a DJ. Hey, you ought to be this. You ought to be have a talk show. You ought to do this. You ought to be a seminar leader. I've gotten these different kinds of you ought to be's, and then different kinds of accolades, none of which I don't care about. The only way I care about them is that I require strokes to function egoically. I like strokes. I like compliments, but it doesn't, it doesn't give me the proverbial big head. And I feel like to stay out of a hole, I better get strokes, because if I'm not getting strokes for something, in other words, if I'm not getting compliments for things, it means I'm not trying hard enough. Thus, this constant pressure that I put on myself. So the game of life is winding down. I'm getting old, and I'm still no closer than I ever was to knowing what this is all about, why I was put here. Believe it, chances are extremely good that nobody's going to be here talking in 20 years. Okay, that's 2 decades. That's a thought, man. 20 years. Chances are there will be no one here to warm this chair. So I'm no closer than I was. And I can give you the spiritual answers, about God's children and meaning in life, and we all touch each other and bloom where you're planted and all that kind of stuff. But that doesn't help. That doesn't help the basic feeling. So that's what I'm just putting down. I'm trying to identify why I have stress, because stress causes bells. You understand? Bells is caused by stress. That's the best thing you can put on it. It creates a tension in there. It's a peripheral nerve, and my jaws were locked up, and I'm very, very tense. What's the stress about? You've got to go deeper, because sometimes the stress isn't about paying the bills and stuff. Sometimes the stress is existential. What are you here for? What are you doing? Sometimes the stress is like that. And what we usually do is we say, it's hopeless. I'm never going to get there. I can't figure it out. And so we drop it in the same way that we drop dreams. We drop the relationship with ourselves because we don't know how to relate to ourselves, like that. So I did this tarot reading, and I won't go through the tarot analysis, but I've done many tarot readings, and I started doing tarot readings because it's image-based, it's apparently random, and it's kind of a way of getting pictures to tell you about yourself. Now again, the game is that they're not random. That's the same game we play with dream interpretation. You've got to, is it pass or play? If you pass, you do not write down your dreams, you don't play, you treat it like it's just detritus that just passes through you like excrement, and you don't have anything to do with it. It might as well be a fart. A dream might as well be a fart. A tarot reading might as well be a fart. That's where some people come from, is that it's just gas. It's meaningless. I have chosen to make the events in my life meaningful so that I can find this depth, so I can find something, so I can live a more authentic self. Whatever it looks like to anybody else. Authenticity to me. So the dream, the tarot comes up with, there's an end of something that would be ego accumulation, the cause of the stress, an accumulation of stuff or kudos, the thing that stresses me. This thing isn't going to leave on its own, and I'm going to have to get out of it, even if it feels like cheating. In other words, I'm going to have to somehow trick my way out of this relationship I have of always needing the strokes, always having stress on myself to show up better than I may really be. And it's wrapped up with everything. All this stuff, this feeling of accumulation wrapped up with body image. It's wrapped up with my wife. It's wrapped up with being an artist or a renderer or an illustrator. All these different kinds of things. I'm driven in many areas. And I also think about the manager. I did another video on this. The manager that was introduced, where you've got right brain, left brain, manifested on your face. So my left side, this side, my left side has fallen. It's dead. Now the left side relates to the right brain. The nerve is over here and it crosses over. It crosses over. So this is a right brain issue. There's a deadness. And I'm going to say that it's the issue is critical enough that it comes to the surface of my body. So I need to look at the dreams. You saw the dream. There are two poles. Now the poles could be my physical body, the two poles that I had in the dream, and it could also be it could relate to the nervous system, could relate to the circulatory system. But poles, being wooden, are things in progress. It's construction. Many things that we build begin with trees. Now these poles, one is better built, and the other one is a little bit rougher and more flimsy. And they both have their limbs stripped as though they're ready to be cut into finished lumber for a building process. Or, like I called the one a telephone pole, maybe it has to do with communication. The pole has to do with communication. In either case, we have a building process, a construction process, communication, the poles. By the way, I recognize that this is a very, very personal dream. I'm trying to give you an encapsulated image of how this works. If you want to know yourself, I'm going to try to get more general terms going on this, but this is about me. I don't know how else to explain this process of tarot imagery, journaling, physical manifestations, and then dreams and dream interpretation, taking these things seriously as a way to go deeper within yourself when life becomes arid, when life is dry, when life seems to be going nowhere, when you seem to be a lot of the same, you're plateaued out. This is where you go. I don't know another way. It's better than a vacation. It's better than any of those things. You have to go inside. Even if you go to Paris, you're going to get back home and sit your butt down. And you're going to go, wow, I'm still the same. Paris is great, but I'm still the same. So you've got to go within with these things. So I had the dream with the two poles. It's a very iffy dream. I don't know what any of it's about much. That's all I've got. So and the thing is, I didn't write it down when I had it, so I lost a lot of detail. The faster you write it down to the moment when you had the dream, the more detail you will have in it. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to wrap up this section because I'm going to do another piece, and I don't want this to go on and on, and I don't want to run into the next, where I actually, try to look at a couple of dreams I've done. I put this one up because this was a notable first dream long time ago when I began this process of trying to reach out and understand the deeper self. And this is a dream that I had to give me very deep and intimate clues about what makes me work. And I'm going to try to generalize out from that because you have clues that you dream about or that you feel on your face or your body as physical manifestations. It can be accidents. It can be mishaps, missteps, misspoken phrases. Wow, I can't believe I said that. These are all ways that the subconscious is trying to talk to you and say, let's go down deeper. Let's get this thing solved. And if you have things like a Bell's palsy, if you have things like something that happens, a fender bender, and you don't pay attention to it in this way, I'm not saying it's guaranteed, but it's possible that that will ripen and ripen and ripen and become more and more real for you. until you are actually participating in something that you feel completely out of control of, as an effort of this thing inside of you, the self, the soul, whatever you want to call it, trying to beckon you into this deeper life. So just as a wrap up for this one, let's look at it this way. We're talking about dreams. You can have an artificial dream where you just have imagery that you look at and you open at random. Some people open the Bible to random verses. Same thing. I'm going to say it's the same thing as tarot. I know tarot's got a bad name, but it's images. Tarot is images, and I don't use it to predict the future. I use it to get handles on my own subconscious. So there's imagery that you work with random sampling. There's your physical body. There's dreams. And all of these things. There's automatic writing, where you just write whatever comes to mind. There's more methodical of journaling. These things, again, go back to tools. And they are ways for you to get more deeply into yourself. Thank you very much. And look for the next one. I'm going to try to generalize dream symbols from my own dreams that I've illustrated, but I'm going to try to be general so it's more usable for you. Thanks a lot. Bye.